Thank you so much for joining this lesson. I'm working on the camera. So we shall be discussing the Kcse paper, which was done by the students of 2024. Yeah, remember to subscribe. Remember to also invite a friend to the live broadcast. So the paper is here, as you can see. And we're going to start with the first question all the way to number 16. That is the section 1. Then later we will be bringing to you section 2 of the same paper. So number 1 is from sequences and series. An arithmetic progression, AP, is given as 600 plus 650 plus 700 plus 50. Then the progression continues. Determine what we are supposed to know in such a case is that there is how we get the nth term in a given progression. This case, arithmetic progression is usually given by a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. So what is a term? In our case, first term is 600. The first term is 600. Then now, with 600, we will be adding n, which is 30, minus 1, multiplied by d. D, in this particular case, is what we usually call the common difference. So from the first term to the second one, we can see 50 has been added. From the second term to the third, we can also see again 50 has been added. So generally, we are adding a common difference of 50. So with this now, we can compute 600 plus 29 multiplied by 50. And this is going to give us 2050. 2050. Yeah, then we continue. Part B. Determine the sum of the first 30 terms. The sum of the first 30 terms. So sum of a given number of terms in an AP, arithmetic progression, is usually given by n out of 2 into 2 multiplied by a, then plus n minus 1 multiplied by d, d being the common difference. So now we apply this formula, whereby because we are finding the sum of the first 30 terms, then we need to write divide by 2 into 2 multiplied by a, which is the first term, and 600 for this case, plus 30 minus 1 multiplied by a common difference of 50. So this will be 15 into 1200 plus Now, when I take 29 by 50, then I'm getting 1450. Right? Then now this product is going to be 750. 39,750. So we are having the sum of the first 30 terms. Alternatively, and even in a more convenient way, the number of terms can be given by n out of 2 into a plus l. In this particular case, l is the last term progression. So we are talking about 30 divided by 2 multiplied by a plus the last term, which is now the 30th term, 2050. 2050. So we're going to have 15 multiplied by 2650, and this will give us exactly the same answer as we gotten in the previous approach. Part B, and remember, continue studying. You can access airtime by just going to your M-Pesa, the Lipa na M-Pesa option. Then the pay bill number is 737356, just as you can see on the screen, 737356, and the account is the phone number that you'd like to purchase airtime for. Then the airtime is going to reflect instantly. Number 737356. Utilize and invite your friends to the same. Let's continue looking at 2024 examination. Remember to also invite friends, learn with us. 5x squared plus kx plus 20 equals to 0 as only one root. Determine the possible values of k. Determine the possible values of k. The key instruction here is only one root. Now, when you are told that an equation has one root, this actually can also be said that it has a repeated root. A repeated root. That language will mean the same. Repeated root. Okay. Now, with a repeated root, the expression on the left-hand side, which is quadratic in nature, when factorized, it is going to give us just one factor. And is called a perfect square. For a perfect square, generally of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, for a perfect square of this format, then we usually say that to get the same as the value of a multiplied by c. A multiplied by c. What is the value of b? B is k, unknown for this case, divided by 2. Now, when we square this, we shall get a, which is 5, multiplied by c, which is to be k squared out of 4 equals to 100. And how do we remain with k squared? By multiplying by 4 through 400. So the value of k shall be, when we take the square root. Now, the square root of 400 will give us two values, either plus or minus 20. So these are the two possible values. The two possible values of k. Number 3, a question without using mathematical tables or a calculator. The logarithm of 125 plus the log of 4 divided by the log of 6th root of 5 plus the logarithm of the third root of 2, or rather, yeah, the cube root of 2. So let me break down the composite numbers in the prime factors, whereby I will say this will be the log of, instead of 125, this can be 5 power 3, then plus the logarithm of 2 raised to power 6 instead of 64. This one now divided by power 1 over 6. Root 6 means raised to 1 over 6. Then plus the logarithm of 2, and instead of root 3, we can raise it to power a third. It will mean the same. Yeah, it will mean the same. That is progress. We remember that among the laws of logarithms is n log a, applying in all the terms. So this will be 3, the log of 5 plus 6, the log of 2 divided by, this will be a sixth, a third, the logarithm of 2. Yeah, the logarithm of 2. We continue simplifying. Remember, we can do away with the fractions. We can do away with the fractions at the denominator. Thereby, I'm going to multiply through by the LCM of 6 and 3. 6 and 3 of 5 plus the logarithm 6 log 2 divide by, when you multiply by 6, this will be log 5 plus 2 log 2. Now, at this point, we can continue simplifying further. In the numerator, there is something which can be factored out. When you factor out 3, now there is already an existing 6 outside. So 3 by 6 will become 18. Then inside the brackets, we shall have the log of 5 plus 2, the logarithm of 2. Then this is being divided by the log of 5 plus 2, the log of 2. And now this being a common, and we will end up having the simplest form. Remember, for individualized institutions, use the same number. Number 4, make x the subject of the formula y equals to a divided by bx. Allow me begin by cross multiplying, whereby y equals to the value of a, and we can also remain with bx equals to a out of y. At this point now, since x is a power, we can introduce logarithms. So x equals to the log of a out of y. Then now, applying the laws of logarithms, we can drop our x there. Log a out of y divide by a, a divided by y, sure. Then at this point now, we can remain with x out of the log of b. Now at this point, having x as the subject, though the logarithm on the numerator can be further simplified by remembering that the value of x can be given by, instead of division, we can separate the log of a plus the log of b. Then everything, this must be minus because we have divided, sorry. This must be minus. Then the log of b. I'm talking about y at this point. Y. Thank you so much for following. Comment so that we may know where you are following us from. Let us know whether you are getting us clear. let us know that you are getting us clear and loud from wherever you are. From wherever you are, let's know. Again, just a reminder to those who would like to purchase airtime for any line, any network, be it Safaricom, be it Telcom, be it Airtel, just go to the M-Pesa menu, Lipa na M-Pesa. The paybill number 7373. Then the account number is the phone number that you'd like to purchase airtime for. Once you've entered the account number as the phone number, you just continue with the transaction. The airtime is going to reflect instantly. The airtime shall reflect instantly. Let's look at question number 5 in the Kcse 20. The unshaded region on the Cartesian plane satisfies the inequalities x plus 3y less than or equal to 21, 3x plus y negative 3, then negative 3x plus y greater than or equal to negative 13, and x plus 3y greater than or equal to positive 11. Greater than or equal to positive 11. So let's look at now the graph already. This is a graph of inequalities already drawn for us. We can see every equality has been represented until we got a region here representing all the inequalities, 4 of them simultaneously. Look at the question. Find the maximum value of x plus 4y for the integral coordinates P, which is xy, lying in the unshaded region, or rather, lying in the wanted region, in the common region enclosed by the inequalities. Therefore, what we are going to do here is to find the maximum value of coordinates, which is going to satisfy the inequalities. And as you can see, we must follow the values at the edges. When you consider this intersection at the point here, that one has been enclosed by unwanted line, or sorry, not unwanted, incomplete line, which means it is not part of the points which satisfy the inequality. Then we got another one here, again being coincided by a broken line, meaning that a point there does not satisfy the conditions. Then when you compare this edge, whereby we have 5, 2, and the edge at this point, whereby we are having 6, 5, then there is no way 5, 2 can give us a value greater than 6, 5. So the maximum coordinate is going to be 6, 5, according to the graph provided. 6, 5. Then now we get to the maximum value, 6, 5, whereby we need x, 6, plus 4, and the value of y, which is 5. So when we feed the value of coordinates of P as 6, 5, now we feed into this maximum value. We need to have x, which is 6, plus 4 multiplied by y, which is 5. So this will be 6 plus 20, giving us exactly 26. Giving us exactly 26. Number 6, a question on longitudes and latitudes. Longitudes and latitudes. Number 6, an aircraft flew due west from a point A, 39.64 degrees north, 50 degrees in the east, to B, 39.64 degrees north, 20 degrees in the west. Calculate the distance covered by the aircraft, correct to the nearest kilometer. So when we are talking about distance in kilometers, we must specify, is it distance along a great circle or distance along a small circle? For this particular case, we are moving due west. So to move due west means that this aircraft is going to move along the latitude 39.64. So we got the sphere of the earth, just sketching. This is a 39 point. Sorry. Yeah, 39. On the east side, we are having 50 degrees in the east. So at this point, now having A. Then this plane is going to move westward till 20 degrees. 20 degrees in the west. It means we will be moving along that latitude until point B, 20 degrees in the west. So now along a small circle, where angle difference divided by 362 pi r cosine of the latitude where the two places are lying. So now the angle moving from 50 in the east all the way to 20 degrees in the west degrees divided by 360 multiplied by 2, 39.64. That's 95 kilometers. 5,995 kilometers. So that is how we get the distance along the small circle. From a question from a angle properties of a circle and also chords and tangents, whereby we are told that in the following figure, A, B, C, D, and E are points on the circumference of the circle. Line AB is parallel to CD or DC, and also line FAG is a tangent. So this is a tangent to circle at point A. As we can see, the angle 5, it's already indicated, so the 25 is here. Again, the angle ABC is 100. C. Determine the size of part A, angle BAC. Angle BAC. So BAC is going to be the angle at this point. Remember, we need to apply a few principles here or a few properties of angles to ensure that at the end of the day, we are having the right angles at the right points. Now, the angle of 25 degrees is equivalent to the angle at C, which is also 25 degrees. The reason as to why I'm concluding that the two angles are both having 25 degrees, we usually say numerically the value of an angle made between a chord like FAG, that particular angle is usually the same chord in the alternate segment. Same chord in the alternate segment. So the same chord will produce 25 on the other side. Now remember, ABC is a complete triangle now. So we need 180 minus 25 plus 100. 180 minus 25 plus 100. And this is going to give us exactly 55. So the value of this angle is 55 degrees. Yeah, 55 degrees. The other angle is AED. The angle AED. The angle at this point, AED. Now, what we're supposed to know is the line DC and the line AB are parallel, which means line AC is a transversal. And if so, then it means the angle at A, which is 55, is going to be alternate to the angle at C, which will also be 55. Alternate angles are usually equal when there is two parallel lines and a transversal, then such an angle alternate angles and alternate. Now we shall apply another principle here. We usually say that if a four-sided figure as the vertices touching circumference of a circle, then we call it a cyclic quadrilateral. CDE, ACDE. DE is a cyclic quadrilateral, and for a cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles are usually supplementary. Therefore, the angle at E will be given by, because it is supplementary, then we need to subtract 180 and 55 for us to talk about 125 degrees. So that is how you want to play along with the angles until you give us that value. Straight to number 8. The triangle ABC with vertices A 10, B 30, C 12 is transformed by the matrix T, which is equivalent to 3K 1.6, 3K negative 0.9 onto triangle A prime B prime C prime. Given that the area of the triangle A prime B prime C prime is 6 square units. Yeah, remember to invite a friend to this live so that they may also benefit, so that they may also learn as you learn. Okay, check here. We are having a triangle whose area we don't know, but the coordinates have been provided. The coordinates have been provided. Now that we got the coordinates, now try to sketch the triangle and see whether of the area, the units of the area. Check here. I'm just doing a sketch for those who may not understand. If I go directly to lifting the area from the coordinates, check here. If we sketch point A, it will be at 1, 0. So A will be there, coordinate 1, 0. Then if we talk about B, it shall be just to the right, which is 3, 0. And another point C is 1, 2. Therefore, just above A, we have C, 1, 2. Therefore, we got the coordinates and I can sketch the triangle. If I sketch the triangle, you discover of A, and therefore the triangle is right angled. Being right angled, look at this. From x equals to 1 all the way to x equals to 3, that is from B, we will be having 2 units. Then again, upwards now, from point A, which is 0, then point C, whereby the value of y is 2 units along this side. And so area of the triangle can be obtained 2 units. This will give us 2 square units. So area of object equals to 2 square units. Now we are also given square units, which means we can get something called area scale factor, which is usually given by area of the image divided by area, which is 2, we're getting 3. So the area scale factor equals to 3. With this value, we can also now get back to matrices and transformation and say that area scale factor is usually given by the absolute value of the determinant of the matrix transformation. So we are having the area scale factor as 3 units, but we don't have the determinant. What we have is the matrix, but having elements. That means we need to say now our determinant of 3, our area scale factor of 3, determinant. So that now from the provided matrix, how do we get determinant? Product of the elements in the leading product of the elements in the leading diagonal. This is the leading diagonal minus product of the elements in the other diagonal. This one we call the other, the main diagonal, the principal diagonal, yeah, the leading diagonal, and the other one is called the other diagonal. So from the main diagonal, we have negative 0.9 by 3k. Then we subtract product of element in the other diagonal. 1 multiplied by 3k. So this is going to give us 3 equals to negative 2 minus 4.8k. This is negative 7.5k, and we got 3 at this point. So we can get our k by dividing. 3 divided by negative gives it as a fraction, negative 2 out of 5. This student will also be considered to be correct. Yeah, that is it. That is it. That is how you are supposed to do it. We continuing, still reminding people that our consultation line is 0704153366 for individual institutions. For learning materials, kindly number 9 now. Solve the equation 6 sine squared of x plus the sine of x equals to 4 for the x ranging between 0 and 18, giving the answer correct to 2 decimal places. Giving the answer correct to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places. Okay. Whenever you see sine and cosine in the same equation and one has been raised to power 2 or one is squared, please apply the trigonometric identity that says of theta plus the cosine squared of theta is equivalent to 1. Trigonometric identity which you supposed to be applying in such scenarios. Okay, with this we can express the cosine now squared of theta as 1 minus sine squared theta. So if this is so, we will talk of 6. I'm re-expressing now 6. Now we write 1 minus the sine squared. 1 minus the sine squared of x plus the sine of x. This is all equal to open brackets squared of x plus the sine of x equivalent to 4. If we start grouping like terms together, actually, allow me take all the terms to the right hand side, whereby I shall begin with 6 the sine squared of x minus the sine of x. Then 4 minus 6 giving us -2. So that will remain as 0 at this side. The equation is now taking a quadratic shape, and we can solve it now quadratically. So if we solve quadratically, okay, for purposes of the average students that we have, let me say that the value of the sign of x is let to be a certain unknown, say even t. So 6t minus t. Remember, 6t is squared. 6t squared equation whereby we can solve using the factorization method. Product of a by c, 6 by -2, -12. Then sum equal to -1, the value of b, -1. Now, with all this now, let's talk about the values, which when multiplied, they give us -12, but when added, they will give -1. This is -4 and 3. Now we can solve by replacing -t with t plus 3t minus 2 is equal to 0. In the first two terms, we can factor out 2t. So that will remain with 3t minus 2. Then plus out 1 to remain with 3t minus 2 equals to 0. The common factor in this case is 3t minus 2. Then outside the brackets, we are having 2t plus 1 equals to 0. Let's talk about now the two values. 3t minus 2 equals to 0, and also 2t plus 1 equals to 0 out of 3. And again, we know that 2t, whatever we were solving as t, is equals to 2/3. Sine of x equals to 2/3. I'll get the value. Let's work with 2/3 first. X will be the sine inverse of 2/3. Sine inverse of 2/3 is going to give us an acute angle equivalent to 41.81. And also, if this acute angle is measured in the second quadrant, the sign is also going to be positive, and it will be +2 out of 3 in our range of 0 and 108. So when 41.81 is measured 0.19 degrees. Now, it's good I mentioned that when we follow the second value of t, that it is equal to -1/3, we'll be meaning that the sign of x equals to -1/3. When sign becomes negative, then that angle is not in the first, that angle is not in the second quadrant. It is in the third and in the fourth quadrants. Angles measured in the third and in the fourth quadrants are usually greater than 180. So the second value of t automatically gets eliminated because of the range that we are working with. Now, if you measure angles in different acute angles, in different quadrants of the unit circle, it's good to know that in the first quadrant, all angles, all trigonometric ratios are positive. In the second, only sine. In the third, only tangent. And in the fourth, only cosines are positive. Now, an acute angle measured in the first, it is given the way it is. But in the second, we need 180 minus the acute angle. And in the third, we need 180 plus the acute angle. While at the last point here, we need 360 minus the angle. So when we measure the acute angle in different quadrants, that is how we expect to handle the different quadrants. That is how we should handle the different quadrants. Looking at number 10, the figure below shows a circle. Line CP and CQ are tangents to the circle at point P and Q, respectively, just as you can see. The circle is to be inscribed. The circle is to be inscribed in a triangle ABC. Remember, we have C and we don't have A and B. Then point B will lie on CQ. Point B will lie somewhere on CQ. CQ is the line here. Somewhere on CQ, such that CBA equals to 90. CBA equals to 90. Use a ruler and a pair of compasses only to first locate point O, the center of the circle. Something we know and very basic is that the radius is usually perpendicular to a tangent at the point of contact of the tangent and the circle. For example, at point P, if we construct a perpendicular through there, we just produce it. A perpendicular through there. This perpendicular automatically will pass through the center because it becomes a radius. It becomes a radius. Then we do the same at Q. We construct a perpendicular through here. We construct a perpendicular through there. This is going to give us O. That is the center. Where the two intersect automatically becomes the center of the circle. Where the two are intersecting becomes the center of the circle. So that is the center of the circle because radius drawn will meet a tangent at 90 degrees. So we can draw the perpendicular ourselves because we have the point of contact between the tangents and we have points of contact and B are also supposed to be such that touching the circle at some point, because C to unknown A, there is contact here at point P. There is contact at point P. Then C to unknown B on the base, there is also contact here. Then the other line, which is also going to pass, should also be making contact with the circle. Therefore, if we draw a straight line here, if we draw a straight line there, then we will need to draw a tangent through that point. A tangent to the circle through that point will mean that now this is right angled, the circle has been inscribed, and the triangle is now clear. ABC. The triangle is now complete. Just that. You know, I met a very interesting question in number 11. That is what I want us to check this time. Just want us to check a very interesting question from statistics 2. Somebody is telling us that the deviations of the masses of 10 students from an assumption are -10, -5, -2, 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 13. Those are the deviations from an assumed mean. Now, the mass of the heaviest student is 58 kg. Calculate the mean mass of the students. Calculate the mean mass of the students. Something that we're supposed to understand. Something that something that we're supposed to understand is that if we are given the heaviest student, then this heaviest student is the one going to give us the greatest positive deviation from the mean. The greatest positive deviation, the assumed mean, or even from the mean. Therefore, we should know that the deviation of 13, which is the greatest positive, the greatest positive is 13, is given by when we take 58 and we subtract their known assumed mean. So with this, can we get the assumed mean? Yes. By making it positive on the left-hand side and taking 58 minus 13, this will give us 45. So the assumed mean was 5. When we subtract the ABS, deviations T are usually given by each value minus assumed mean. So a deviation of 13 means that it comes from heaviest student minus assumed mean, and the assumed mean now becomes 45. Now, with an assumed mean of 45, I think now we can solve a lot, because actual mean of x will be given by assumed mean plus the mean of the deviations, the mean of all deviations, the mean of all the deviations. Negative 10 minus 15, minus 5 minus 2, plus 4 plus 5, plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 30. That's the total deviations over 10 students. This will be 45 plus 3, giving us 48 kg. This becomes the actual mean, 48 kg. 48 kg, the actual mean. Yeah, so I hope we are together up to that point. I just hope that we are together up to that point. Thank you so much for following. Kindly, you can subscribe, you can also comment, you can like, you can share to invite friends. Make sure that you are learning together with your friends. We are almost finishing up with the section 1, number 12. The following table shows part of monthly income tax rates for a certain year. Monthly income in Kenya shillings. The tax rates are in percentages. What are we told now? In a certain month, an employee paid a net tax of 2,000 Kenya shillings after getting a tax relief of 1,280. 1,280. Calculate the employee's taxable income. Let's begin by getting the gross tax. Is the tax that he would if it were not for the relief. So we take the net tax and we add back the relief so that we may know the total tax due, 180. That is the total he would have paid. Now we want to know the taxable income, which is taxed at the given rates here to give us a total tax bracket. From the first bracket, we will be having a taxable income of 11,180 multiplied by 10%, and this will give us 1118. Then the next to get here, we need 21,714, and we subtract 11,180. We subtract 11,180. This is going to give us 10,534 at the rate of 15 again percent. This is going to give us tax equivalent to 1580.10. You can have 0.00. Then now you can see the taxes are not adding up to 34. They are not adding 480. That means there is another amount here to be added so that you may get 3480. There must be an amount when added will give us, because now we have the last bracket. We are in the last bracket now. So from the last bracket, there is a tax equivalent to 781.90. Add up now the three. We're going to get the provided tax. So we are supposed to tell ourselves that in the last, which is taxed at the rate of 20% to give us, this is the one to give us 781.9. So the value of x now is 100 over 20, and that is going to give us 9.50. So that now all the taxable incomes now, because 3909.50, that will be taxed at the rate 81.9, 1044 at the rate of 15 to give us 1580.1, 80 at the rate of 10 to give us 1118. Now, when we add everything, we get 3480. So it means the taxable income is the summation of 3909.4 plus 11180 from the first bracket. From the second bracket, we have 10,534. So this one will total to 25,623.50. So that is going to be the total. Kindly follow up with that question. You can also check more other examples from the same channel, Shifting Grades Online School. Remember, consultation line 0704 153366. This is the line you should consult through. You can also organize for individualized tuitions through the same number. For those who would like to purchase airtime, just giving a reminder that you can go to your M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa, the pay bill number is 737356. Then the account number is the phone number that you are purchasing airtime for. After entering the account number as the phone number you like to receive airtime through, now complete the transaction and your airtime is going to be received instantly. To finish up, we can look at number 13. The equation of a circle is given by x squared, y squared minus the center of the circle. We're supposed to, first of all, expand this expression. So we're going to have the x function, x squared minus 3x. Then this x component is supposed to be made a perfect square. So plus a known quantity. Then we go to the y plus 4y. We also complete the square here equals to. Now on the right hand side, we shall add all the constants after completing this by the value of b over 2. Then we square. So the first constant will be 3. So negative 3 over 2 squared becomes 9 over 4. On the other side, the value of b is 4. So it will be 4 over 2 squared. So 4 over 2 is 2 and 4. Now we'll be having 9 over 4 plus 4. We also add the constants to the right-hand side. We factorize the x component. So x, the sign which follows is a minus. The square root of the constant is 3 over 2 squared plus y. The sign which follows is a plus. The square root of the constant is 2. Side we are having 6.25. When you add, it's that the general equation of a circle is given by x plus y minus A minus B, sorry, squared equals to radius squared. Now, in this particular case, we're supposed to understand something, that negative A 2. So the value of A is 1.5. Negative B equals to 2. So B equals to negative 2. So the center will possess equation, will possess a coordinate equivalent to 1.5 negative 2. 5 negative 2. Let's look at the part B of this question. The area of the circle in terms of pi. Generally, area is usually given by pi r squared. For this particular circle, the value of r squared is indicated here. So you don't need actually to get the value of r. We need r squared. So for this, we need to talk about pi r squared is here. So logically, we should start with square units. Square units. So that is the area in terms of pi. Area in terms of pi. Now, in the next lesson, I'll be taking you through graphical. Thank you so much for following. Consultation line remains 0704. Invite a friend in the next broadcast.